Someone needs to pierce me through my jugular vein with an IV and inject the cultural phenomenon that is Bridgerton into my veins before I spontaneously combust. I'm gonna need this stat right here. Dearest viewer, it is I, Merlin Lolol, and I welcome you to my newest visual gossip media, that is, if a viewer watches at all. 'Tis the season where the ton has yet again been blessed with a new installment of the smash hit, incredibly historically accurate Regency show, Bridgerton. I simply refuse to speak in that janky ass old English accent for the entire video, so you're just gonna have to deal with this. As you can see, I'm dressed up in my kind of makeshift Regency era outfit. There's gonna be 4 in the video because I'm so excited and I love dressing up, so I hope you like it. I will probably insert a picture here of the entire outfit because I did do that. I did do the whole 9 because I was excited for this. So if you're new here, hi, welcome. You can call me Merlin. I just don't want to get stalked. Do you? I didn't think so. I have my script here, so if I keep glancing down, you don't see that, stop being an op. But if you're not new around here, then welcome back, Girly Pop. It's really great to see you. I'm excited. I hope you enjoyed this video. Get on in here, everyone. If you have a low attention span, then you should probably put this video on 1.75/2 times speed because I'm going to be talking about some interesting stuff. However, if you have low attention, don't miss out just because you can't pay attention. Pull a Subway Surfer video up behind the screen if you have to. Do what you must. So as you probably know, the first half of the 3rd season came out a couple days ago, and you best know that I watched that shit in one sitting while I rebraided my hair. Also, do you guys like my hair? What the back of my head looks like is none of your business and is none of my business. Before I talk about this video, there's gonna be a little spoiler warning right here. I feel like I haven't done that before, but I should do that from now on. But yeah, there will be spoilers in this video, so if you haven't watched the first half of the 3rd season, then go do that. But put this video in your watch later so we come back to it, because if you don't, you're anti-black.
Yes, I did that. And you would do it too for a check. I was an employee.
Which is crazy because even Bridgerton isn't anti-black, and there's a lot of good black representation in that show, in my opinion. But I've had a few days to marinate in my thoughts, so to speak. But before I voice like all of my grand total thoughts of the season, I figured that it would be good to do a recap of each episode and just sprinkle in my thoughts and opinions while I do the recap, and then I'll do like a big summary. This is basically just almost a character analysis of Bridgerton characters from season 3. But yeah, I hope you enjoy. Episode 1. The first thing I noticed was that they changed the actress for Francesca, who is kind of like the main Bridgerton in this season other than Colin. Francesca is like the middle child. Don't get me wrong, I really love Hannah Dodd in the role because she did an amazing job this season, but I was really looking forward to seeing Ruby Stokes in the role because I thought she was just like really charming. She was in Lockwood & Co. But the whole reason why she was recasted was because she was never actually casted as a permanent character in the show. So because she was just like a visiting actress for most of the season, and then she got Lockwood & Co., she decided to ultimately move to that job. Because it got cancelled and the recasting for Francesca was already done, she wasn't able to come back for season 3, which is really sad. I hope she has a good acting career. I'm looking out for her in her other roles because I think she did a fun job. She's very charming and funny. I saw on TikTok quite a few people clowning and dogging on Ruby Stokes, and that's very disappointing because they preferred to have Hannah Dodd as the Francesca actress because they were saying that Hannah Dodd was more attractive. All I gotta say is people need to be better. Like, stop hating like a man. Like, what is this? For those who don't know, I am deeply in love with the Regency era, so even though this outfit isn't historically accurate, let me cook, okay? I'm having fun here. Also, the second thing I noticed in this series was that Colin is a playboy. He is a certified fuckboy in this season, okay? His first scene in the show is literally him blowing a kiss to this, might I add, beautiful, stunningly attractive Asian woman who drops her glove. He picks it up, and then he like kisses her hand and winks at her. Like, who is this Colin? Girl, ain't no way, ain't no girl, cat girl. Who is this and where can I buy him on Amazon? I'm waiting for my package as we speak. His first scene literally blew me to bits, the way he was winking at everyone like the sly fox he is. There is something that is distinctly un-Colin-like, so to speak, in this version of him, where I'm wondering, where is the shy, soft, caring, soft boy that we know from season 1 and 2? Who is this Colin and what have you done with him? Where is the boy we know and love? But I'll get more onto that later. Also, another thing I want to talk about is how fucking beautiful Kate is in this season. Don't get me wrong, the actress, I can't remember her name, is so beautiful just like on her own. But like, I don't know what the heck they were injecting into her veins in this season, but she came out looking like the goddess she is. Also, I'm really looking forward to seeing her more this season, and specifically in the context of her and Anthony's marriage. Because if we remember from season 2 with Daphne and Simon, we didn't even see Simon in the second season. Did see a bit of Daphne, and she did give her Daphne advice to Anthony in several occasions, but I'm more looking to find what's it like with this marriage life. I want the show to delve deeper into what the lasting effects of a happy and loving marriage are. What does it look like? What does it sound like? Because we hear characters like Violet Bridgerton, a lot of the times Daphne, they're both talking about what it feels like, and they're talking about what this love is like, but I want to actually see it. Show me, don't tell me, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I just hope that they don't do what they did with Simon and Daphne, where we just kind of forget about them and their married life. I want to see what that actually looks like, especially because Violet's husband died before the season even began, and we only get flashbacks as to what their love life looked like. Another thing that happens in this episode is that Penelope and Eloise have an interaction where Eloise confronts her, and then Pen tells her that she wrote the article about her as Lady Whistledown as means to protect her. If we remember from season 2, the Queen of England accused Eloise of being Lady Whistledown, who is this gossip column writer who often exposes people of the Ton and the Queen herself for their misjudgments and their flaws. The Queen had a death grip on her hypothesis that Eloise was Lady Whistledown, and Eloise of course was not, because Penelope is. The Queen threatened Eloise's family and said that if she doesn't confess, then she will ruin her family. However, she told Penelope this. She wrote something bad about Eloise, because we all know that you would never talk badly about yourself, especially in this era when all of your status is dependent on your name. Eloise actually finds out that Penelope is Lady Whistledown, and she obviously does not like her because of this. So then flash forward to this season, they have their confrontation once again. And when Penelope tells Eloise that she was trying to protect her for the whole time, this is exactly what I was searching for in the second season. Now, Penelope did briefly say that she wanted to protect Eloise, but she didn't really delve deeper into this, but she does kind of do that in this episode. I understand that Eloise felt betrayed by Pen, who chose to expose her, but ultimately I am the ultimate Penelope defender, because she truly had her best interest in mind and did it out of necessity, not because she was feeling malicious in any way. Also, we can't negate the fact that Penelope also had her own best interest in mind, because she obviously wanted to preserve her own name and she didn't want Eloise taking credit for her work. But I will say that if I were Eloise, I too would feel betrayed, but at the same time, if she admitted to being Lady Whistledown, her family and her own name would have been ruined, whereas only Eloise's name is ruined because of Lady Whistledown with this outcome. Now, I'm not saying that she should be grateful by any means to Penelope, because ultimately Penelope did not handle this situation in the way that I would have. I personally would have told Eloise, listen, I'm actually Lady Whistledown and I'm so sorry for all the bad things I said about everyone, but let's find a way to figure this out. Instead, she just went behind Eloise's back and talked bad about her, which is honestly a dick move, and I would be mad at Penelope for that too. Also, unrelated to the Bridgertons, but Will and Alice Mondridge, I think that's how you say their name. They're the couple of the boxer guy, you know, the boxer, and he has like a wife and kids. That guy, he owns a club now. They received news that their son is going to be the Baron of Kent, and this is because Alice's distant aunt died and she passed all of her things to the son, because he is the next eligible heir to Kent. So I personally think it's really interesting to see how these marginalized people come into new wealth into this show, and even though black people are like significantly better off in this imaginary society, in this universe, than in real life, I think it's still interesting to see how they are still evidently a marginalized group and how they deal with their new wealth and power. Then comes my favorite part of episode 1, Penelope gets a glow up. It's happening, guys, it's happening, oh my god. Also, are they playing ABCDEFU right now while Penelope makes her entrance like the absolute icon she is? I'm sorry guys, Penelope has been my favorite character since season 1, and I will be a Penelope defender until the day I die. I will die on this hill, argue with the wall. Anyone who doesn't like Pen doesn't deserve peace. They don't deserve happiness. What the fuck is going on? Why are they playing Pitbull songs and ABCDEFU at the same time that they're playing a classical rendition of Snow on the Beach by Taylor Swift?
Pitbull, Give Me Everything, the strings version, I mean...
Huh? What is this series? What is this soundtrack? I just wonder how they were able to do such a good job with it. It's not easy, I can say that. But she literally had him turning his head, breaking his neck to take another look at Penelope when she was walking past him with her new pretty little dress. They're so fucking adorable. I can't. Also, another thing I want to say is that Colin needs to apologize to Penelope for talking bad about her in season 1, because as we remember, he did say that he would never court Penelope. Like, why not, pal? You're ruining my friends to lovers trope. What's going on here? You have to have a good valid excuse. And I see none. That's not very cash money. Also, there's this guy who threatens the Featherington family because the mom basically forged a document saying that a fortune will go to the daughter's firstborn son. But the thing is, she forged the document so it's not actually valid, and he's on to them. I'm sorry, but why are the Featheringtons always in the trenches? Someone send a helping hand to them. Someone help them out. They're going through it every single season. Like, someone give these guys a break. Penelope got friend-zoned.
Like clever and warm, and I am proud to call you my very good friend.
That would literally make me shrivel up into a ball and die. But let's move on. So near the end of the episode, we get introduced to the main plot point of the first half of the season. Colin teaches Penelope how to be the ultimate Rizzler and snatch herself a husband because she doesn't want to live with her family anymore because they suck. Me too, girly. I would feel the same way. He had this like half-assed apology, and then he proposed to help her get married so that she could like him again. I don't know. It's like, I see what they're trying to do. It's just like, oh, you know? It's Also, another important thing is that when Penelope was mad at Colin because she was mad at him for the first half of the season, she did write a really mean Lady Whistledown letter, basically saying that Colin is a fake-ass, bitch-ass hoe. And obviously she doesn't feel the same way now because they did reconcile, and they do have some like tension going on in this episode, which I'm not hating at all, but it still gets published. And then when Colin sees the article, he vows that if he ever finds out who Lady Whistledown is, he will ruin her life because she ultimately ruined Eloise and Lady Crane's reputation. Despite Colin having an article written about him, he doesn't really suffer that many consequences, in contrast to people, namely women like Eloise and Lady Crane, who had an article written about them and had to like hide from society for a couple weeks to a month because there was just so much tea, people couldn't stop talking about it. But yeah, there are a lot more long-lasting repercussions for the woman, and Colin just kind of like snaps back at it like it's nothing, like nothing happened. So that's kind of like an interesting idea about how like a woman's role in society is affected by her image, whereas a man's role in society is maybe not. I don't know. My final thoughts on the episode was that it was a pretty solid, and I was really looking forward to seeing the development between Penelope and Colin. However, I will say it's very interesting how their relationship has progressed very quickly, because in the past 2 seasons we see that Colin doesn't really think much of Penelope, but all of a sudden now he seems to be a little bit more like in tune with her. And I'm just wondering, like, how did that progression go? Especially because they didn't write letters to each other all summer, because Penelope refused to respond to him because she was still mad at him from last season. I'm back. Did you miss me? Okay, I'm aware my blush is entirely too bright. Let's move on. Okay, I think that balances it out a little bit. Episode 2. Colin is a hoe. The main thing about this season with Eloise is that she and a girl named Cressida, who remembers Cressida, they become friends. I love it when shows and media flesh out villainous characters so we can see why they are the way they are. Oh, did you hear that? Did you hear Miss Cressida Cowper calling? Well, pick up the phone. We see little bits of her character development where last season, if someone shared a secret with her, she was likely to tell everyone and their mother. The whole town would be in the know. This season, when Eloise tells her about Penn and Colin's agreement, even though she has the opportunity to tell everyone on multiple occasions, she actually doesn't tell anyone what's happening. This makes me think that Cressida is incredibly flawed, just like Penelope, and they're two sides of the same coin. So Eloise used to be friends with Penn, who is a girl who grew up in a very unloving, very toxic home environment. She was kind of like the black sheep of the family. However, she actively chooses to be more docile in real life. She listens to everyone and their needs and tries to do her best to appease them, rather than her own voice being heard. So then she takes all of her thoughts and feelings out through Lady Whistledown and basically talks about everyone else rather than talking about herself. And this means that in her relationship with Penelope, she was the big talker in the friendship and never really listened to Penelope, But now that she's friends with Cressida, who grew up in a similar household to Penelope but chooses to deal with her situation differently, instead of internalizing her thoughts, she talks about her thoughts on everyone else and takes out her frustrations on everyone else, I suppose. And this is because she can't confront her parents due to the power dynamics and the given time period and what we know about that context. Eloise is in a position where she is forced to reciprocate the communication and hear Cressida talk more about herself as much as she talks about herself in the relationship, which is very different from her relationship to Penelope. And that's why I ultimately think that they're better friends and better suited to be in this friendship, because in Eloise's relationship with Pen, it was a lot more one-sided and more just Eloise leaning on Pen as a friend, but Pen never being able to lean on Eloise the same way. That's why she was more friends with Colin, I think, and she had a closer relationship with him, because he actually listened to her. Anyways, back to the gossip. It gets out anyway, and everyone finds out that Penelope and Colin are working together to get her a husband. Kind of makes everyone like her less, and she kind of gets bullied in society, which is crazy. Like, she's trying to get a man. She's not trying to get, like, her cousin, like a certain Featherington sister. And then because of her bullying, we also get a scene where Penelope's mom is almost nice to her, and she tries to comfort her, and this is actually a really interesting scene in my opinion.
But when you bought those dresses, it was only for your amusement, not that you earnestly believed you might find a husband in your 3rd year out. A life unmarried is not all bad. Trust me, men can often cause much more trouble than they're worth.
Because we can actually see the pain in Lady Featherington's face when she talks about men, because she's basically saying that they cause more problems than good for women. And this is even evident with last year, where her distant cousin, I think, or her husband's cousin, tried to manipulate her by making her fall in love and swoon for him, and then he ultimately, like, did not reciprocate those feelings. So he basically played with her emotions, and she probably still hasn't recovered from that, because she did seem very invested in that. She basically got catfished by a man who was like 20 years younger than her, and still came out the losing end. How does that even happen? So even though she was very unsuccessful in comforting Penelope, you can also see the layers in their relationship and even in their own personalities and experiences, and I think that's just so juicy. But also, she was being really shitty to Penelope, because she basically said that she shouldn't expect to get a husband because she's not beautiful enough or not adequate enough, which really sucks. But at the same time, I feel like she's also saying that with her best interest in mind, because she doesn't want Penelope to get her hopes up and eventually get hurt. So it's incredibly misguided, but she has the right intentions. But I will say the actress Polly Walker did an amazing, phenomenal job in this role, specifically in this scene. Gagged me. It was so good. She did such a good job. Also, this is a very important episode because this is where they kiss. Oh my god. But I will say, even though this scene was supposed to be super like steamy and like romantic and beautiful, it did have me feeling away because it felt almost master manipulative on Pen's behalf, because basically he came to her at night and she randomly confessed to him that she was afraid that she would die alone and never be married and never even be kissed. And he's like, what? No, Penelope, of course you'll be kissed one day, so you'll find that person. And she's basically like, I could die tomorrow and I could not be kissed, and I don't know how I would live with that.
Die tomorrow.
I could, and it would kill me.
You would already be dead.
I do not wish to die without ever having been kissed.
And then she basically just begs him to kiss her and promises that nothing will come out of it and that she won't feel anything towards him, even though we already know that she's very much in love with him. And he basically just feels bad for her and kisses her, and then they have a little peck, and then it turns into something a little bit more, a little steamy. But it's almost like he felt like a sense of obligation to kiss her, which feels like it wasn't earned. This slow burn is not slow burning, and as a book reader, I despise slow burns because it just takes forever, but I understand the necessity in it. And I'll probably talk more about this later, but it just feels like they went from one extreme to another. They used to be friends, and now they're like making out. And it just feels like, guys, what's going on? And I feel like this is partially due to the fact that a 2-part series, so there's 4 episodes and then another 4 episodes will come out in a month, but it almost seems like they're rushing to get this in so that we'll be invested, and then they'll take it away, and then we'll be invested again in the next half of the season, so they have to hurry it along or else they might not get viewer retention, which I understand, but it's like, it's the 2nd episode, guys, like. But yeah, that's where the episode ends. Hey guys, it's a new day, yet still we slay. Another day, another dollar. It's Thursday. Yesterday I was recording for the first 2 episodes and it was Wednesday. now it's Thursday. I'm so behind schedule, but we ball, you know why? This is Bridgerton, and we suffer anything for Bridgerton. Also, do you guys like my new hair, my new makeup? Tell me in the comments how good my outfit is. I'll add a picture here. Also, say hi to my little skull. I'm wondering what I should name the skull. I'm thinking Pete, but let me know in the comments what name you think I should name this skull. Because Skull and I are friends, and I think it would be really cool if Skull had a name. Anyways, we're on episode 3 of season 3, first half of Bridgerton.
Can you see me? I'm waiting for the right time. I can't reach it, but if you want the pleasure's all mine.
Also, I hope you guys are doing well today. It's the same day, but I hope you're doing well. I'm doing okay. If you hear any background noise, it's because people in my house are moving around because I chose to record while people are home.
But imagine how tired we are.
I'm in pain. Cold opening. It's hot. It's steamy. Colin is having a wet dream about Penelope. Are you following? Okay, we love it. So this is of course the episode after Pen and Colin have their first kiss. You guys know how I feel about it. Let's move on. So Penelope and Eloise have a conversation about how Lady Whistledown wrote an article about herself. And it basically just detailed her inability to find a husband because it would be weird if everyone was talking about it but she didn't write about herself, since the secret got out and everyone knows that Colin is helping Penelope with finding a husband. And even though Penelope and Eloise aren't quite back to their old friendship, they're one step closer to reconciliation, which I actually really appreciate because I would really hate it if they were never friends again because that just isn't fair. It's not a happy ending, but also if this action is what makes Eloise forgive Penelope, it would almost feel like it's not earned, like it's too easy and not quite yet earned because they didn't really have any like apologies, any actual confrontation about this yet, other than what happened the night that Eloise found out. So I really appreciate that they're taking baby steps and that they're not rushing the reconciliation of their friendship. Speaking of which, I recently reconciled my friendship with my old best friend. I won't get into the details, but we weren't friends for a while, and it's really nice to know that she and I are kind of friends again, so I appreciate this. Alright guys, let's welcome a new bachelor to the house. Everyone put your hands together for Lord Debling. He's tall, he's blonde, he likes birds, and apparently he's a vegetarian and a naturalist. So he and Penelope actually hit it off immediately. I actually feel like Lord Debling and Penelope have more chemistry this season than Penelope and Colin, dare I say. And I feel like this is because he actually seems to listen to Penelope when she talks about her interests, and he actually genuinely wants to get to know her, whereas Colin literally said that he talks to Penelope and seeks her out in a room because she makes him feel better about himself.
I'm not the man I was last season, and I'm most certainly not ashamed of you, Pen. The opposite is true. In fact, I seek you out at every social assembly because I know you will lift my spirits and make me see the world in ways I could not have imagined.
He said this during his half-assed apology, and I personally don't think it was good enough. I'm still holding it out for him because of that. But what I'm getting at is that it feels like Penelope and Colin's interactions are transactional, because Colin talks to Penelope because she makes him feel good, whereas Lord Debling actually cares about her interests. And this interest is reciprocated, not just one-sided. Does that make sense? Are y'all picking up what I'm putting down? Okay, let's move on. Also, Colin enters his jealousy era.
Calm down, bruh. Chill.
So I know I was shitting on him like not even a minute ago, but I love it when men are jealous. I love a jealous man, what can I say? But the thing is, we can definitely see that Colin is developing feelings for Penelope, but to me it seems more so like it's sexual attraction and not actual romantic attraction, because it's like he doesn't really like her that much before they kiss, and then all of a sudden he's hot and bothered and ready to marry her. Like, huh? I'm connecting the dots, but I don't like the picture it's painting. And this is particularly disappointing because I've seen so many interviews where Nicola and Luke talk about how romantic this season is, but I'm really not seeing that between Penelope and Colin. We did get a scene where Penelope talks about how beautiful his eyes are, and I'll be honest, that would make me swoon too.
Imagine what you would want to say to me if I were a suitor.
Your eyes, the most remarkable shade of blue, yet somehow they shine even brighter when you are kind. I might say something like that if you were a suitor.
It almost feels like it kind of wasn't earned, despite how beautiful the scene was and how nice it was and how much it made me squeal, because trust me, I was squealing. But I want to know, Mr. Bridgerton, why are you jealous now that another man wants her, but you've had her for years? She's been interested in you for a minute now. Could it possibly be that other men see her as desirable, therefore he finds her desirable? Who knows? I'm just saying. Also, it's interesting to see how Cressida tries to snatch Penelope's man, Lord Debling, on multiple occasions, which I don't understand because they literally have nothing in common. The only reason why Cressida likes him is because he's tall and blonde, and they could be like Barbie and Ken, I suppose, but they don't even know who Barbie and Ken are. which is ironic because Nicola did play a version of Barbie in the Barbie movie. Okay, we're drawing connections, we're connecting the dots here. But I personally believe that Cressida and Eloise should be spinsters together and be known as best friends who live together by historians, if you're picking up what I'm putting down, if you're catching what I'm throwing. Also, Benedict meets a MILF. And this pisses me off because she is so fucking attractive. She's so beautiful. But Benedict should be gay. Or at least bisexual. Come on, guys. Come on, Shonda. I don't care what it says in the books, okay? That is a gay man if I've ever seen one in my life. And trust me, I've seen a plenty. Argue with the wall. Argue with the wall. Argue with the wall. I don't care. Argue with the wall. At least make him canonically bisexual instead of this queer-baiting bullshit. His gun is pink, I tell you. This man's gun is pink. Also, Penelope almost gets hit by a hot air balloon and she falls and she gets saved by Colin and Lord Debling. And because of this whirlwind of a situation, we are rewarded with a classical rendition of Cheap Thrills by Sia. And then Violet Bridgerton meets a DILF?
I believe this is yours.
And he's black? So his name is Lord Marcus Anderson. Also, can I just say, is his name like historically accurate? How do we go from Anthony, Colin, Eloise, Hyacinth, Cressida, Prudence to Marcus? What hat did they pull that name out of? Like, is that just me? It feels off. Like, I know like the name Marcus is based off of the name Mars and all that astrology shit. I don't care. No one cares about Greek mythology. Also, watch the video that I did about the Song of Achilles. Maybe I'll link it in my bio if I remember. Why is his name Marcus? That doesn't fit. Change it immediately. I'm kidding. I don't care. It's just funny. Also, we then receive this hilarious scene.
Feathered, may I present what Sir Humphrey Davy calls a lamb?
No.
Portia is literally so fucking funny. I swear to God, Polly Walker and Gloria Rochevelle literally carry the show on their backs with their humor. Someone call a chiropractor. Someone hire them a physiotherapist the way they're straining their backs carrying this show. Also, back to the Mondrich family, Will, the boxer. I'm just saying he's the boxer because I keep forgetting his name. So maybe you forgot his name too. The boxer, Will, the black man. He has a hard time adjusting to his new aristocratic life because he's not used to being rich like this. He's not used to having that shmoney. And then he's in this predicament where he really wants to work at his club that he owns. It's very frowned upon by society because when you're rich, you're not supposed to work. I think it was Kim Kardashian who said it best. No one wants to work anymore.
I have the best advice for women in business. Get your fucking ass up and work. It seems like nobody wants to work these days.
And those damn aristocrats, they know what it's like. They said, bitch, don't quote the text to me I was there when they were written. I just stole on Carly's flow. I'm gonna put their account here because they're a very funny booktuber, kind of booktuber, internet girly pop. But our boy William, he's known the American dream life. He knows that you gotta pull yourself up by your bootstraps. So he wants to keep working. And he comes to this revelation like, hey, I'm a rich man now, I can do what I want. And he and his wife start doing what they want now because it's nice. It's not nearly as menacing as it sounds. They just dress nicely if they want to, and then they go out if they want to, and they stay home if they want to. It's pretty wholesome stuff, actually. I really like the storyline. And then we get a classical rendition of Billie Eilish's Happier Than Ever, circa 2021, I would say, via a violin string quartet. And this is while Penelope ballroom dances with Lord Debling. And then Colin's just standing on the sidelines, brooding and staring longingly at them like the certified jealous boy trademarked. Like the certified jealous boy that he is. He genuinely looks like he's going to cry, which is funny, sad, but funny. And this is also when Violet Bridgerton clocks that her son Colin Bridgerton is indeed in love with Penelope Bridgerton. She's quaking in her boots because Violet Bridgerton loves love. She's a certified lover girl. She's an advocate for the love. Also, Cressida becomes a very sympathetic character in my opinion. I start to like her a little bit more because you can see that she's trying to become a better person as she and Eloise grow closer together. Again, spinsters, which is interesting because she's been out in society since the first season of Bridgerton. So it's been a total of 3 seasons that she's been out searching for a husband. She still hasn't found a man. So I want to know, why is she making fun of Penelope for not having a husband, but she's been out here since day one? I'm sorry, but the call is coming from inside the house, ma'am. She has no business being so rude. And not to mention, only now is Penelope attempting to find a husband, whereas the first 2 seasons that she's been out, she hasn't really cared about that kind of stuff. Or maybe it's more so that she didn't think that she would find one, so she didn't put much effort in. This is only her first active season searching for a husband, but Cressida has been putting her entire Cressidussy into finding a husband since the first year. She even almost bagged a prince, a little prince, and she fumbled the ball against Daphne, and Daphne didn't even marry the man. I'd be looking back and cringing on that if I were her. But anyways, she's having a really hard time pulling Debbling, and this is really sad in my opinion, because you can clearly see that she's searching for a husband, but she's not being herself. She seems like an actual very soft, empathetic person, but she puts up this wall. That's what the mask is. It seems like she's also only seeking a husband because her parents are pressuring her to do so, and she even says almost as much in the show. But again, spinsters unite. All I'm saying is, let's get her and Eloise in a cozy cottage out in the wintertime, have them sat on a couch by the fire, and see how many sparks fly. That's all I'm saying. We could test it out. Don't knock it till you try it. What the? Okay, final outfit. I'm gonna add in a picture of my last outfit for today. Right here. This one is the least accurate out of all of them. The buttons are kind of bursting, so I might have to tie it because I'm not trying to flash anybody on youtube.com. Alright, so mid-season finale, episode 4.
You see me using everything to hold back. I guess this could be worse. Walking out the toys you packed.
I haven't really talked about her very much in this season, but we have Francesca back here. And Francesca actually has a love interest that she met in the 3rd episode, I believe. And he is the Earl of Kilmartin. During her calling hour, he visits her and they just sit in silence together. And there's a couple things that I love about their dynamic. Number 1, fuck yeah. Interracial couples, let's go. Let's get that representation. Yes, ma'am. And then number 2 is that their relationship is super precious. I love how they're able to just sit in silence and enjoy each other's company. But there's also a very lovely scene where she talks about a song that they hear in public, and she's like, no, that's not right, it should sound like this. So then he skedaddles away, and she's like, what's going on? But then next time he sees her, he whips out a piece of sheet music, and it's the music that they heard before, but that she said should sound different, and he recomposed it to sound how she wanted it to sound. Tell me that's not love. Tell me romance is dead. They are so cute, and they are my favorite couple this season. And that's saying a lot about Colin and Penelope, but let's not talk about that. Also, in this episode, Penelope looks fucking stunning. She looks like Cinderella. Beautiful. That's all I want to say. Let's move on. So, time's a ticking. I don't know how much time has passed since the 1st episode of this season, but Lord Debbling is already getting ready to propose for Penelope, and he even asks for Penelope's mom's approval for his proposal. And I'll say it since no one in the room wants to. They should be together. He is clearly the better option right now. And I'll die on this hill because I'm just not seeing the connection between Penelope and Colin. Also, Colin admits that he is lonely and he wants to be a certified lover boy, which makes me feel better because the fuckboy version of Colin is not the Colin that I know and love. I'm ready for his soft boy era so much that it's a need. I am gnawing at the iron bars of my enclosure as I grasp for the distant memory that is Loverboy Colin Bridgerton TM. Every episode I feel like I like Eloise significantly less, and I understand that she's kind of entering her redemption arc with Penelope, but especially in season 2 I began to find her incredibly dislikable because she's very self-centered and almost gives off the vibe of like white first wave feminism. Like, are you picking up what I'm putting down? Are you catching what I'm batting? It feels really superficial, and while she is clearly an advocate for a woman, but it's only like she's an advocate for certain women. It's giving aristocratic women should be able to do what they want, not all women. You know what I'm saying? So I know she's not inherently racist, it's just like something's turning me the wrong way about her, you know? And at least Lady Whistledown didn't discriminate. She went for every person of any race and any gender. They got a scandal, they got an article attached to their name, and you best bet she's coming for your back, so sleep lightly. Her pen attached to her paper, scribbling with such vigorous intent, is an omnipresent shadow ready to beckon, ready to attack at any given moment. So during the next ball, Lord Debbling plans on proposing to Penelope, and Violet tells Colin this because he originally didn't want to go to the ball because he was being sad and brooding and emo. And when he hears about the news, he fucking makes haste, okay? He runs, not walks, runs to the ball. And he interrupts Penelope and Lord Debbling's dance just so that he can convince her not to marry him. The fucking audacity. Now she's fucking mad. And girl, I would be too. Imagine you wait 3 years to get you a husband, to get you a man, all while being in love with your guy best friend, and then you finally secure a certified baddie, but then your best friend tells you no. No? What the fuck do you mean no? Get out of here. You had your chance and you didn't take it. Now get out of my sight. Make haste, buddy. So then Debling, like the certified smart baddie he is, he clocks that there's something going on between Colin and Penelope, because he's like, oh, you want him, you want this man. And she's like, no, we could never. And he's like, no, you want him.
All week I've watched you search for someone. I thought you might have had a falling out with Mr. Bridgerton. But now I suspect you may have been searching for him for a very different reason.
I do not know of what you speak.
Speaking of Mr. Bridgerton and the feelings between the two of you.
I can assure you, Colin Bridgerton would never, ever have feelings for me. It is laughable to think as much. We are friends. Nothing more.
But would you like it to be more?
It's not a possibility.
I did not ask if it was a possibility. I asked if you would like it to be.
So then Penelope runs out of the ball and she's like, nah, fuck this, man. I'm mad because she just lost her proposal. What the fuck? Ignore this. She just lost her proposal and Colin fucked it up for her now, so now she's mad at Colin and she's heartbroken about Debling. But guess who comes pitter-patter and skedattering and catches up to her carriage? Talk about stop the carriage. Climbs on in. My boy Colin ran after the fucking carriage, stopped it.
I need to know, did he propose?
When I asked for your help in finding a husband, I did not realise that also meant you might try to deny me one as well.
It is my business, because I care about you. You cannot marry that man.
He did not propose. In fact, he rejected me because of you. Because the scene you caused led him to believe you had feelings for me.
I cannot. What if I did have feelings for you?
What?
Just to have a conversation with Penelope, I'm screaming. I'm literally screaming. I'm hollering. Lost my voice.
Spent so long trying to feel less, trying to be. But these past few weeks have been full of confounding feelings like a total inability to stop thinking about you. About our kiss. Feelings like dreaming of you when I'm asleep, and in fact preferring sleep because that is where I might find you.
I'm your friend.
Yes, baby. Forgive me.
Say it, bro. Penelope, say
I
it.
was thinking.
Penelope, say it. Penelope. Penelope, say it back.
I'd very much like to be more than friends.
Oh, yes! Yes!
So much more.
When is it my time to be happy?
And then they have a really, really steamy scene where they like make out and a whole bunch of stuff happens.
Bro, ain't no way they got the ankles out. The ankles? Scandal!
That's how the show ends, with Colin getting out of the carriage when it arrives to his house because he lives across from the Featherington house, and he's like, girl, you coming with me or not?
You coming with me?
What? Your family will see me.
For God's sake, Penelope Featherington, are you going to marry me or not?
And she's like, but what if people see this? And he's like, girl, or on Host Club style, girl, my princess, are you gonna marry me or not? And that's how it ends. So clearly I have thoughts. Number one, I feel like this is not earned. The whole marriage thing. First of all, what kind of fucking proposal is that? Are we gonna marry or not? Shut up. Okay, try that again. Run the scene back, okay? Redo that. Where's the ring? You know, them getting together at the final episode. It feels rushed. Like, I know they were trying to draw the audience in because it's the mid-season finale. They want us to come back and watch the second half of the third season. The slow burn isn't slow burning. Now, as a romance reader, I hate slow burns, but I understand their necessity. I understand that you don't have a story if they get together halfway there. Because if they get together halfway there, it all goes downhill. Someone's dying, someone's breaking up. Now, I know that's not going to happen in this series because the showrunners and the audience simply would not have that. We simply would riot in the streets if that happened. And I'll say it, I'm rooting for them. I really like Lord Debling, but I'm rooting for Colin too, you know? I know it's just not going to happen between her and Lord Debling, so at least make it good between Colin and Penelope. So it just feels like it's rushed. It feels like the slow burn isn't slow burning because it would be different if they were exchanging flirty glances throughout the first 2 seasons. It's like friendship for 2 seasons, and then randomly it's like, ooh, in love, steamy, sexy. Like, it just doesn't feel natural. It doesn't feel like it's earned. He comes back from his voyage and he's like, yep, she's the one. Huh? I don't like it. It doesn't feel right. I feel like they should get together in the last episode like a C-drama. I'll say it. We need the C-drama type plot. Also, one of the things I wrote in my notes is that they have more chemistry in real life in press runs than in the show.
I would do jam first because it's stickier.
First of all, if I were someone's significant other and they were an actor, I'm packing it in. Telling me that I need to be fine with them having such good chemistry with another actor on screen? No, I simply could not. My jealous ass cannot. I'm taking myself out. I'm being benched. I'm taking myself out of the game. I ain't the one. Luke and Nicola have so much chemistry off screen, and I feel like it just doesn't quite translate the way it should on screen. Like, they do have their cute moments, but it just doesn't feel the same. The hand placement, the flirty glances, the eye contact, the laughter. It seems that they are so much more compatible off screen than on screen, and I hate when that happens because it's now I'm rooting for them in real life. Luke has a whole girlfriend, I think. It's not fair, and I'm mourning this. Also, another key point of Colin's character arc this season is that he goes from being someone who he's not, someone who he thinks society wants him to be, to being himself. So we see this in how even Anthony and Simon they were all playboys, just sleeping with people, being casual, having casual relationships, thinking that he has to be a playboy to appease the Ton, to appease the other lads. But then he comes to a realization like, hey, that's not me. I'm not a whore, and I was never born to be. I was talking about it with some of my coworkers, and they're like, ugh, Colin creeps me out in the first half of the season. Like, yeah, that's the point. He's not being himself. So even though I don't like it, I understand why they did it, because he needed some kind of character arc. Also, I'll go out and say it, Eloise is a bad friend. Like I said before, Eloise is just very self-centered. She grew up as a middle child almost. At any given opportunity, she's like, I need to talk about myself. I don't get to do that at home. She doesn't really think about how others feel, and that leads to her neglecting her relationship with Penelope, which leads it to be almost one-sided, because even though Eloise always seeks out Penelope, it's only because she wants to talk to Penelope and doesn't want to listen to Penelope. Cressida and Eloise are very similar. They kind of balance each other out, whereas Penelope and Eloise kind of clash because they're not allowed to be their entire selves with each other. However, that's not to say that I don't wish they rekindle their friendship, because I do hope they come back together, because I feel like if they both work on themselves, they could have a better friendship, because Penelope is also incredibly flawed. She doesn't know how to express herself properly because she hasn't been given the opportunity to do so. Their friendship will only grow if they both grow individually. Sometimes it's better to pause a relationship and just work on yourself, and then maybe resume if you guys feel like you can. And I feel like that's what's gonna happen with Penelope and Eloise, and I really hope that happens, because I do like their dynamic together when they are having fun and giggling and gossiping and stuff. Alright, so those are all the notes I've taken. I thought it would be interesting if I did some rest of the season predictions, but honestly, I don't think I have any. Like, yes, obviously Colin and Penelope are gonna get together. Lord Debling probably not gonna get together with anyone, but I do hope he gets together with Cressida, because we all know that Eloise and Cressida aren't gay, so they're not gonna let that story happen, because this show is somehow depriving me of my queer representation. Looking at you, Benedict. But I do think that Lord Debling and Cressida might get together. I feel like Eloise and Cressida are probably gonna have a falling out. Even if they do, they'll probably be friends for like the rest of the show, just because we need that Cressida character development. Francesca and her Earl are gonna be together. Obviously, it's gonna get out that Penelope is Lady Whistledown. Colin is gonna find out. Now, will he forgive her? I think so, because that's how Bridgerton works. He's gonna be like, I hate you, but I love you because you're Penelope, and I'm Colin, and I forgive people, and you're Penelope, and you're strong, and you're smart, and you had your reasons, but I love you anyway. That's what it's gonna be like. Violet Bridgerton, I feel like she probably will not get together with the black man who happens to be Lady Danbury's brother. I feel like they'll get together, they'll maybe have a couple intimate scenes, but they probably won't marry, just because Bridgerton likes to edge us like that. Oh, the Featheringtons will be fine. Like, they're not gonna be homeless or anything. They're gonna be just fine. Because the devil works hard, but Portia Featherington works harder. Portia Featherington is literally the Kris Jenner of Bridgerton, and I'll stand by that. Also, I really love Prudence and Philippa's husbands. They are the most himboest himbos that have ever himboed so hard that they himbo. Anyways, I think they're super funny, and I like to see their dynamics with their wives. I'm pretty sure that is all. I'm done, dearest viewer. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. If you like this video, be sure to give it a like, subscribe if you like it. If you like my outfits in the video, I post them on Instagram and TikTok, so those links will be in the description. I think that is all. I will be seeing you guys next time. Please excuse my butchered accent, I don't know why I keep trying to do it. Thank you so much. And I will say bye with this glass. Bye guys.